A multi-syllable thing going there. Good. Alexandra, huh?
Yes.
Wow. That's great. That's a great name. Queens are named Alexandra.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas and Alexandra. Remember that? Those were a pair. Are you are William O'Neill Walker,
Yes, sir.
correct? Miss Holmes is now representing you. Did you
Yes,
know
sir.
that? Okay. Good for you.
Thank you.
And what are we going to do today?
Your Honor, I also filed a motion for bond reduction.
What are we going to do today? Is he going to be disposed of today? Or
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
I haven't received all discovery yet.
All right. Okay. Go ahead. What do you want to do today?
Your Honor, today we were hoping to have the court consider a bond reduction for Mr. William Walker. I believe before I was hired, the last time he appeared in court, his bond was raised from $50,000 to $500,000 due to him testing positive on a drug screen. We are asking if the court could reconsider that bond to a lower amount and put some conditions in place, such as GPS and drug patch, to make sure that Mr. Walker is abiding by all the rules, and conditions of bond.
Well, all those rules were in place before that he didn't follow. What's different? So thanks. Hold on. What's his bond, please? He tested positive for THC and cocaine. Nice. Come to court. But that was a condition of bond not to do that. So he's going to make the same promise not to do it next time? Is that the same? Well, you made that promise before you didn't keep. You can only slap me once. You know, I'm going to duck next time.
And Your Honor, there was a previous bond hearing on this where he was contacting the victim and you'd revoked his bond. He then eventually was, another bond was set. He got a GPS monitor. He and the victim then married and
Oh, they're married?
they've
In
split
this case?
Yes.
They split up again. And she said he's continuing to try to contact her, is my understanding. And he tested positive for cocaine and while he was on bond.
And
It sounds like a movie.
and the complainant
A bad movie, late at night,
and
2
the
in the morning.
complainant was the person who contacted me to hire her. So it's
Yeah, there's
Can't make this stuff up. I should have started with calling the cause number and then saying, once upon a time, go ahead.
So it's a very interesting dynamic because
Yeah.
and it's my understanding the complainant, well, I know that she's filed a non-prosecution affidavit. She's contacted me, but she's also been in contact with the prosecution.
See, the problem with this is
Yes, Your Honor. And the state just believes the bond is appropriate because he's tested positive for cocaine. He's obviously been around her again. And the facts underlying this are very serious. And I don't want it on us, something happening.
What people forget about, not you, but others, that we all live here together. And there are certain things when people, if they want to hurt you, if they want to act foolish and irresponsible with each other, and that's what they agree to do, there's not much we can really do about it as long as it's just them. But here, this is being played out on the streets of Beaumont where you got collisions with cars on, road at 7,000 block of Concord, a wreck. I mean, this is, what this does is puts everybody else in harm's way. Your mess becomes everybody else's mess. And then you go, well, we'll just shake hands and go home. And you cross the line when let's see. weapon collided into another vehicle, causing it to leave the roadway, wrecked out in the 7,000 block of Concord. I mean, that's a major street in the city of Beaumont. And phone and took Gilmore's phone, threw it while she was attempting to speak to 911 to prevent her from calling for help. Proceeded to strike Gilmore several times in and about her head and face with a closed fist and bruising, using due to you using a vehicle as a deadly weapon. You just assault, interfering with 911 call. You were arrested and then transported to the jail. All being played out in front of the general public. Your business. But at the end of the day, you love the lady.
She loves me. We love each other.
Really, that's not the way I define that word. You don't act like that to people.
You're
I've been
correct.
married to a
correct.
wonderful lady for a long time. I know what that word means. I know what caring for each other means, and it doesn't. She and I don't wreck each other's car and threaten to harm each other in the middle of town, in front of everybody. If we have a problem, we work it out. Not displaying this ridiculous thing in the public. Do you think this is a Chamber of Commerce moment for the city of Beaumont? You think we're going to get people into this town when we got, y'all need to come here so you can see William Walker, what he does in the middle of the streets with the people he cares about. Can you imagine what he's going to do with somebody he really doesn't like? See, when you play this out,
Yes, sir.
rationally, it doesn't make any sense. But you can't do these things and then go, but I love the lady. That is a warped understanding of that term. I want people to live happily, together and be productive people where two people work as a team and you each move forward positively and make the world a better place for each other and others who you touch in their lives. Here, this is this is a dangerous thing, and it's being played out in the middle of town, which isn't responsible behavior at all. Now, I'm smart enough to know that two adults, if they want to ram each other's vehicles and hurt each other and then call that love, if they do it in the woods somewhere all by themselves in a place they own, fine, but not where everybody else has to live together. This is our city, and you pulled it down. Really, nobody wants, the leadership in this town doesn't want this set of facts made known to anybody. It's terrible. And then the way you deal with it is then, well, I'm going to go marry the girl the next day. You don't do that. And that's goofy. That's just Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, that stuff. That's weird. It's not responsible thought. But you can't care for somebody and then treat them like this. I don't care. This is never responsible behavior. So all this about after this is done, then try to marry her and we're good. To me, it's only one thing, and that's to try to cover up the mess and get the responsibility off his back. But when you play this out in the middle of town, in the general public, you have a price to pay for everybody who feels like they got harmed, who feels like the value of their property just went down because of what you're doing, and it gets out amongst the people. This is what happens in this town. And our value is lessened, that we're trying to make a home here. Oh, that's my speech. And besides, I'm looking, your address is Jackson, Mississippi. What are you coming into Beaumont to make a mess for? Why don't you make a mess in Jackson, Mississippi?
We were living together at the time.
I don't. Why don't you make this? If you're going to do this, go to Jackson, Mississippi. But I don't think they would appreciate it either. You know that. Have you ever been convicted of a crime before, sir?
No, sir.
Well, I'm looking at your age. Well, what all of a sudden caused you to act irresponsible? I mean, this is irresponsible behavior. It's
Yes,
like
sir.
you went bizarre. Drugs have anything to do with this? State drugs do? Because
I would
that's
assume, I don't know that there's
irrational
anything.
behavior. It's really
yeah.
irrational behavior for somebody.
Very out of character because
So what
he's never
what
been
triggered
arrested or
this?
anything
So, I
before.
mean, how do you explain it?
We both were fighting each other that night, and it just escalated.
Two lovers.
Yes, sir.
You don't.
But it
You get that doesn't work that way, though.
you're correct.
Okay. All right. You have parents?
Yes, sir.
Are they still married?
Yes, sir.
Your parents?
That's
Were
what I
they
live
were they
with
good
today.
role models for you?
Yes, sir. Great role model.
Well, then what happened? That's. I mean, you're going to be impressionable by your parents, and you have children.
Yes, sir.
Well, you're going to be impressionable to them. They're going to want to act out the way you act. That's just natural. It's a natural part of DNA. We want to be like our parents, whether they're good or bad. If they're good, then you're going to end up probably being okay. But this is just aberrant behavior from what I hear about you, according to Miss Holmes. All right. So no. So what's his bond right now?
500,000.
Ma'am?
What's the drug patch?
Yeah. Why did we get a drug patch?
He tested positive when he came to
The
court,
last
Your
time.
Honor, the last.
For,
The marijuana.
oh, okay. What's that all about?
It was right the weekend right after Thanksgiving.
Oh, so y'all get together and have a cocaine party at Thanksgiving table?
No, it didn't happen like that.
Well, that's what it sounds like. Thanksgiving, that's a holiday, a wonderful holiday. So you celebrate by using cocaine
No,
and making sure that the cocaine distributors have their Thanksgiving? I mean, does that sound, but what about the kids? Do you do it with the kids?
it was
Do you do it with the kids?
no, sir.
Why not?
That's
You're a role model. Why wouldn't you?
not appropriate behavior.
So why did you do it?
Just having a party after Thanksgiving that weekend.
Big mistake?
Yes, sir.
I think you're right about that. There isn't anything good about it. What state say?
Your Honor, just with that, I believe it's appropriate. We've already had one bond hearing before this where, again, that's where he was contacting her. She felt threatened. The court revoked this bond, and then eventually another
Well,
bond.
it's just before or after they got married?
This was before the other bond hearing.
Okay, so after the threats and all, then they got married? Okay,
Yes. He actually had a GPS and was required to remain in Mississippi,
okay.
not to come to Texas. It's my understanding he never did come to Texas. He did stay over there, but they ended up getting married there and now are separated, my understanding. And
Now they're separated? Is that right?
No, sir.
No, y'all are still happily married?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
well, I believe that, the state's got a different opinion as to what we're getting contacted with. I believe Ms. Holmes is also, according to her, she's getting contacted as well from the complainant. But the state's issue is that he tested positive for cocaine last time, and based on these underlying facts, I don't want something happening between the two and it being on us. Like,
look, I want this to end well for
Yeah.
everybody. I
And
really
we would
do.
agree if
And you can make mistakes and fix those, but you haven't been fixing them responsibly because we have the mistake from the arrest that's publicly played out, then put you on bond, then you're testing positive for drugs, and then you're showing up, refusing or failing to follow all bond conditions that everybody has, and that's don't contact the complainant unless you get permission from the court. Number one, I'll never give you permission to use drugs illegally. But number two, I can work that out if y'all want a relationship. But that's not the way to do it, is to go out and violate bond conditions. That puts this court in, so twice bond conditions were broken. It would be foolish for me to go, well, let's make it 3 times. Like, give him a chance for a 3. Here's what I want to do is I want to freeze all of this right now. I've looked at his public safety report. I've considered a reduction of bond. I'm going to deny that at this time. I want to see this thing worked out for everybody, especially the 2 people who want to work this thing out. But it's got to be, I got to be convinced it's going to be responsible and that the victim is not going to be harmed, and that our city, Jefferson County, is not going to be a public display for chaos in the streets. If I'm convinced about that, then we can get a deal worked out, maybe, and it can be disposed of. How long would it take for y'all to get back with me on something? 2 weeks? Is that enough? 2 weeks, would that be enough, or 3?
I think we could, I think being cautious, probably 3 or 4, Your Honor, just to make sure Ms. Holmes has all the discovery and everything that she's able to view
All right.
through, as well as.
It's going to be reset then 4 weeks, ma'am.
I have to add Ms. Holmes into the system so that she can.
Great.
have access.
Okay. But look, weird things have been worked out before. But this, I've got to be convinced that the defendant's going to act responsibly. And he hadn't been from the outset of the crime, then placed on bond, didn't act responsibly while on bond conditions. So why would I say, let's do it again? Something's got to be different. And I don't see anything before the court that's different. Right now, we don't have a setting for a trial or anything yet.
It's at 324 for trial right now, but that was with Mr. Kimball.
That's what the previous attorneys, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do an announcement in full.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me then reset, and Ms. Holmes is the attorney, and the
I have it.
other case is to be dismissed, right?
He only has one, so.
He just has one case.
Oh, he only had one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about Sneed. Yes. All right, get a resetting, and we'll see you back in 4 weeks. Maybe
Yes, sir. We'll work.
everybody can be happy.
Okay.
In 4 weeks.